Tannu, thank you so much for joining us today. As we begin, can you say a few words about your current role in the organization?
Sure. No, thank you for having me. First of all, it's amazing to share the journey with other people. And hopefully, I just want to start with like whoever is listening, it's not about me, but about you. And hopefully, you gather some insights from here. About my journey, I was always a mathematical kid, like always into problem solving challenges. So that inherently like carved my path to be an engineer, but I never thought about where am today. That was never the plan. I started in business school with information systems and management, um, moved ahead to business analyst, so figuring out data, patterns, how they can affect businesses.
Hmm.
That was my starting journey with IT, and to really see how we can solve problems and actually impact people. From there on, I moved to data analyst, bunch of data patterns, which as a business analyst I was seeing, but now I get to do my hands dirty and analyze things, change those numbers to anything strategical, implementation, really see how they shape into execution. And then I moved on to business operations. So a lot of execution, but now from process perspective, how to make sure these data, this business analytics, all these numbers now convert to dollars, show real impact on processes, peoples, and how we are, making dollars out of it. This was my journey before cybersecurity, and this actually was a foundation which, now that I think back, set me up for cybersecurity. But back in the day, I was not thinking. Then I moved to cybersecurity, not planned. I was just thrown into there. I was looking for something, a change, and then I came across cybersecurity and I was hired. And initial 2 years was a learning curve. I was doing bunch of security products, a lot to do with authentication, authorization, security configuration products, trying to enable teams to develop their applications and how can we go about geo expansion. So that's how you connect dots to operations like geo expansion of to different clouds and helping deploy different applications. That was my start of cybersecurity journey. And then it got interesting when I moved to incident management. That's where I interacted with bunch of services, bunch of different domains, and how actually it matters. Like someone somewhere sitting writing an application relies on you to fix and put off the fire when things go south. Those warlike situations got me into figuring out how this impacts real people and real lives, and it's the window to to the digital kingdom.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how I moved into incident management, security, and today I lead detections. My job is to catch threat actors in our systems by any means possible and hopefully be ahead of them so we catch them before even they get in. I
Hmm.
hope that gives you a whole idea on how the transition happened and how where I am like I reached today.
Certainly, no, it does. It does make sense, and it's so. But kind of the path as was from technology to cybersecurity, which coincidentally, I think it's the path that a lot of people are taking. Um, Based on your experience, what will be your advice for some of the junior practitioners who are just kind of embarking on their cybersecurity journey, or maybe even someone who's at school trying to look into space, trying to figure out if it's if it's a path that's worthwhile for them to pursue, or maybe someone who's in technology but looking to make this transition into cybersecurity. From the vantage point of your experience and your journey, what would be your advice to them? And what are the top two, three things you wish you knew or you wish you did, that you can kind of share with them to help set them up for success?
Yeah, no, that's a good question because when I reflect back during all this transition, I wish I had someone telling me these things or at least dropping these words because early in the career when a lot of vocabulary was dropped, I was just
Mhm.
Googling stuff and seeing what this actually means. My suggestion who is aspiring to get into cybersecurity is one, you have to be, especially incident response,
Mhm.
be extremely clear about your communication. Incident response is not about you going in there fixing fires, but it's about
Mhm.
you being present and directing people what to do. So in the room of fires, there are 10 experts who can solve the problem. But you have to be there to talk to those people and connect the dots and make sure you communicate the right stuff to right people. Your CISO doesn't want to know that 1,000 applications are secure. He wants to know what's the impact of securing those 1,000 applications. Does it help a hospital register their insurance processes quickly, like process their bills quickly if they were stuck? Does it help a student get into a portal and give an exam? Like, tell the impact to your CISO. So you have to be very concise about your communication in the middle of the incident, because everyone is in panic mode. There's tons of information everyone is communicating. You need to sit there and figure out what is important, what is not, what needs to be communicated. So that is an advice for cybersecurity incident management specifically. For someone who's trying to jump into cybersecurity, read books. And when I say read books, basically make yourself familiar with the vocabulary, because this is a world where we love to throw acronyms, we love to throw new words and new vocabulary, and stuff. Like, if you're a little bit familiar with this world, you definitely know stuff. It's just people are talking different languages and different vocabulary. So we do our best to confuse you and make sure you don't get it, even though you get the stuff. So don't lose confidence in yourself. Just read a lot of books, listen to a lot of people, a lot of podcasts, so that you understand what is being talked about. It's the worst feeling to be in the room and hear the words and not know what's going on. And vice versa, if you know the words, you know what's been talked about, it's a different level of confidence. So make sure you put in some effort to read and to know those words. Secondly, get your hands dirty, like participate in CTF, go do a lot of exercises, go try. You don't have to develop an app, but you need to know what goes behind development. Is there a privacy review? Is there a threat modeling? So just go get your hands dirty. That will help
Mhm.
you know what you don't know. And it's more than enough to just have a laundry list of things saying, I don't know these 10 things, but this is how they map. And that's more than enough. You don't need to be a pen tester, but you need to know what a pen testing means and how to interact and talk to a pen tester. You don't know how threat modeling is done. You just need to know what is being done in threat modeling. How do you reach to that person who gets it done? So make yourself familiar to know about stuff. You don't need to get into the deep dive of it and like get 1,000 feet overview of it. You should
Mhm.
be fine. That would be my recommendation. It's not an easy field, so be prepared to be challenged, which is okay. That's how you succeed. So if you're challenged, don't get scared or step back. Take that as opportunity. And there are a bunch of people in the security room also. You can use this as opportunity. The moment you have a security issue, everyone wants to neutralize the situation and they will come in to help. So you are at an advantage given you act right and you communicate right. I hope that
Makes
helps.
sense. Makes sense. No, it certainly rings true, a lot of things that you're saying. I know some people advocate, well, you should really pick something that you are passionate about and just double down on that. Other people say you don't know what you may be interested in. Cybersecurity is such a diverse field, from SOC analyst to pen testing to GRC, that is not probably even technical. It's more about rules and compliance. Um, um, so get exposure to all of them, so then you can go wide before going deep. Some people say it's all about mentorship, finding the right mentor, to find the right champion who will uh, kind of promote your defend your interests and promote you internally when you're not in the room. That's what it's about. Some
That
people
is, yeah.
say it's certifications. So it's from kind of your experience, where do you stand on those questions?
So if you are lucky enough to know your strength in cybersecurity, you have cracked it and you are one of the exceptions. Like, I can be an exceptionally good pen tester. First of all, you know what pen testing is. Second, you have figured out that's your niche and you really want to do it. That's when you're like, hey, let's go do certification on a pen test, deep dive into it, and then that's my path. But
Mhm.
everyone is not that lucky. Once you get in, I would say, yeah, mentors matter. They matter a lot, but they can only speak for you once you have started delivering and they believe in you. And in order to reach there, just make sure you have an impact and you are doing your best. Certifications don't matter, but also there is a contextual side to it. If you're a student, you have never worked, you don't have exposure, you don't know what you need to learn, certifications might be helpful. They would expose you to the world where you can learn about cybersecurity, which you would have not. So it can be a certification, it can be a Coursera course, it can be a book. It is the means to get you educated, no matter how you get it. But if you're already in a security field and you know about a bunch of stuff, you may or may not have the certification, but if you get the job done, that matters. So certifications, they are just a way for you to know, to carve your path. For what matters, I would say, is impact matters. So make sure you are delivering your best and you're
Mhm.
talking to people around you. Um, to make sure like whatever is needed during an incident, during the fire, to put that off. And this is in context of, again, incident management, because that's where most of my background is. So all the advices are right advice. There is no wrong advice. You need to figure out what part of the puzzle fits your journey.
Certainly. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, switching gears, I guess part of what makes cybersecurity so attractive is that it never standing still. It's always changing, whether
Hmm.
it's technology or threat actors or geopolitics or regulations. There is always something new. Um, it's sometimes difficult to discern what's signal, what's noise. There's so
Hmm.
many shiny pennies.
Yeah.
New companies get funded, new exploits, new technologies. So I'm always looking for advice for practitioners, for people in the field, for senior practitioners. What's top of mind now? What are two, three, four themes, ideas, threats that are everyone is talking about from what you
I
see?
think everyone's talking about AI. That's the elephant in the room. Everyone wants to talk about AI. Everyone is thinking about AI. From security practitioners perspective, we have brainstormed a lot on how can it write a code, can it write a design spec, can it do testing. I think we need to start thinking about, what if an AI agent goes rogue, what if there's an incident, there's a fire because of the AI agent. We don't have playbooks today where I tell my SOC saying, if there is an incident and the root cause of AI, this is what you need to do. So I think that is something we should start thinking and should be on top of our mind, especially with the world coming in. Like, AI is triaging my queue, AI is looking into detections, AI is throwing in playbooks for, say, credential leak. Hey, you found a password in somewhere in the database you were not supposed to have. Go do these 10 things. Great. What if that AI goes rogue? What if the root cause is AI? I think that should be our top of mind, and we should design our systems and prepare ourselves for the day when we need to mitigate an AI agent related security incident. So I would say that is very much top of mind, and I'm also brainstorming on what can we do. Is killing an agent an answer? No, because we will come across so many incidents. So we need to have a sure shot mechanism, and I don't know how that playbook would look like, but that is something we need to pivot and make sure we are ready for that day and have our incident responders or investigators equipped to look into and investigate and trace that AI agent or that bot, to look into the back and say what happened, when it happened. Can I draw the attack path? Can I not draw the attack path? What alerts and monitors should I have on an agent in order for me to know next time something is going wrong? That is very much top of my mind to figure out and make sure everyone is equipped around ourselves to answer or to respond to those situations.
What are other things? I mean, AI is certainly top of mind. As I mentioned, I just came from Black Hat. It seems like every vendor now. It used to be cloud and zero trust. Now
Yes.
every company is AI first. So, other than that, what other themes, ideas, technologies is everyone talking about?
I think zero trust is another thing. Like, it maps back to AI again, but like we keep saying least privilege and zero trust. How will it look like? Do we have data creep in coming in because of these agents? Like, so various aspects of like playbooks to AI, the data creep happening because of AI. What is my zero trust situation or least privilege model looks like? So those are the things I think. Yes, these are all the buzzwords around security, but they connect the dots seamlessly. So I think we need to rethink security how we used to do before.
Certainly, no, it makes a lot of sense. Um, So I guess we still a little bit of time. So I I wonder, but that's something that's been top of mind for me, and maybe it's kind of a little bit off script, but I I'm on LinkedIn all the time, and I see those battles sometimes raging between CISOs and vendors.
Hmm.
When CISOs post fairly mean posts about their negative experiences with salespeople being too aggressive, and
Hmm.
then salespeople chime in the comments saying that, well, they're trying to be helpful. So, what's your take on how, on the one hand, cybersecurity practitioners, they rely on vendors to build their cybersecurity program, and it's certainly their job would have been impossible without tools that help them keep
Hmm.
internal systems and data and processes secure, and keeping track, having dashboards, whether it's keeping track of identities, keeping track of SOC alerts in internal SOC and things like this. On the one hand, on the other hand, it seems there are so many companies raising so much money, and they're incentivizing salespeople to be extremely aggressive, and they really kind of push the boundary of what's acceptable and what's appropriate, and push the boundary um, on personal space and personal identifiable data. Sometimes the line is a little bit fuzzy. What's your take on this kind of debate that's I see raging almost every other day on LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's a good perspective. But from identity space, every time I have not even a vendor, anyone like Tanu is working on XYZ, have we made sure there's segregation of duty? Have we made sure there's least privilege? What if there's an insider threat? What if Tanu goes rogue one day? What if her identity is compromised? So we need to design our systems in a way where people have access to stuff they only need access to. Lot of time just in time access comes in picture for those scenarios. So yes, we are concerned with anyone having over privileges and over access, no matter if it's a vendor, not a vendor. So we need to design our systems for humans to success. And I what I'm hearing is that's the key part which is missing. We the moment things go south, instead of looking at what went wrong, is it a user error? What went wrong in our systems? How could we have designed better? Every time there is something wrong, we need to retrospect and see what could we do in system and automate in a way that it's not, because user error is possible. I might have someone who's very early in career trying to explore things and someone who's very well security educated. I can't cater both to the both audience differently. I need to make sure my systems takes care of those scenarios
Hmm.
and make sure that we embed our systems with such concepts. We embed our systems to automatically take care of those scenarios. Um, Incentivizing sales. I'm not a sales expert, but I heard you saying we are coffee. Incentives are based on sales, how the sales are happening. That's a different debate. That's a different side of the sales world, which we can go for, and pros and cons and all those aspects. As long as it's done securely and taken care of in the sense of like it's not a entryway for my threat actor to get in, that's fine. That's for the salespeople to look at it, the experts to make a call. From what I see is make sure that's not another loophole for a threat actor to come sit in my system, get the PII out. Um, Also automating, you talked about PIIs, like am I leaking email addresses? Am I leaking someone's address? We need to be following regulations and masking those information to make sure it's not leaked. So again, empowering our systems to take care of such situations is the key. And leaving a little to no room for error when it comes to users. Does
I
that help?
understand. No, it's certainly very helpful. So, no, I guess as we're getting close to wrapping up, um, imagine if you had a crystal ball and it can see into the future. In your view, 12 months from now, 24 months from now, CISOs, VP level, director level cybersecurity executives, you think will be curious about, anxious about, concerned about what two, three, four themes, technologies, ideas? What do you think will be top of mind in that time frame?
I think it reverts back to what we talked about. Like we, as you mentioned, the whole theme of the was AI at the recent conferences. So
Hmm.
I think the next theme would be fighting incidents from AI. Um, Shadow AIs. Like I am now using AI so much that I have a shadow AI knowing everything about me and can lead to a data leak, can lead to know what Tanu's personality is, where she eats, what she does, and merging that information with the different AI models. So not having siloed information without me knowing, the informations will flow between different AI agents. They'll start talking to each other, potentially hallucinating. So I think that is top of mind to make sure what are the preventive measures we can have in order to make sure that doesn't happen. That's how prevention comes in picture. And then moving on, what alerts or detection or measures I can have to alert myself when this starts happening, because it would not be ideal to learn about these things once the damage is done. And then the response part of it. So it's a whole threat cycle where we are talking preventions, detections, and how do I respond to such incident. The moment it happens, can I use my AI triage model, or will it be biased to not prioritize the incidents based on AI? Like what could be the biases AI can have? So how do I respond to it? What would my mitigation look like? Those are the top of things I think we should start thinking. And probably in the next conference also, we will see examples and have case studies and our lessons to take home from those experiences. From the crystal ball, I think that's an amazing question, by the way. We need to start looking into it and seeing how it's going to impact humans. If the whole code is written by AI, is there a human insight? Like, how can we embed humans into the processes? We need to figure out and have those processes and governance in place to make sure we're not skipping humans as the main overviewing main aspects of our each processes.
It's certainly an exciting and a scary world at the same time
It
that
is
we're,
scary, yes.
that we're stepping into. Other than AI, what are some of the technologies or ideas or trends that you think people will be talking about in about a year or two?
I think we will talk a lot in a year or two about how we are detecting stuff. Like, I am seeing a lot of changes in our detections, like starting to make like attack graphs. They will also change because now how we used to have see attacks is going to change. So our attacks graph will change how we are identifying threat actors, especially going ahead of them. In my field, of course, like everyone is putting their hat on like how they are doing things in product security,
Hmm.
but for me I think it's more about how can we detect threat actors, impersonation, um, and now like code just getting bypassed because we gave someone an authority to write a code, maybe AI, maybe not AI, let's keep that aside. So I think that those are the themes I'm looking more strategically about on how can we detect threat actors in our systems, given we have a lot of incidents which can impact the whole world. Like someone somewhere can't log into their student portal, do their homework, or someone's health insurance can't be processed. So um, more and more of these attacks I think need to be taken care of.
Certainly, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Dano, thank you so much for your time. This was very informative and inspiring, and
Hmm.
a little bit anxiety inducing, especially your ideas around AI and some of the areas where it could go rogue and how ever more dependent we become on a personal level, family level, company level, on technology in general, on AI in particular. So I hope I hope we'll get a chance to have the same conversation a year from now, and all those challenges and issues will have been addressed by then.
Hopefully,
I'm
yeah, and then
hoping. I'm
yeah, and it
hoping.
really gave me an insight because we have been so much dived into what the next top of mind items are. What I'm concluding and hearing again and again is like we are so dived into one certain topic that there are so many others might be left out. So I think that is
Mm,
another aspect we would see down the lane in the journey, that we thought about top three things, but there were other three things we just overlooked because something was so much buzzed up in the market. So I think I am learning from the conversation about there are certain more things we need to look into, because let's not make sure we are overlooking stuff. We need to make sure the good people get in, do their job while we are stopping the bad guys. But in the gist of it, I have a feeling we should not let stop good people from doing their own job. Like the barriers are so strong that the people who are supposed to get in can't get in. I don't think that's the right way to do things.
For sure. For sure. Well, certainly there's an exciting and scary world at the same time with everything that's going on.
No, thank you.
But
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
absolutely.
Hopefully, people who listen to get a little insight into what cybersecurity is like, how people from non-cybersecurity background can land here and like get things
Certainly.
going.
Tannu,
Yeah.
and what's for listeners, what's the best way to get in touch to connect?
I think LinkedIn is the best way. And for everyone, I think like LinkedIn is the best way. You get to know what someone is doing, how they are pursuing their career, what are the next steps. So I think it's the best friend. I always go and look at people I aspire to and see what they have done. What could I do? So yeah, LinkedIn is always the best mechanism.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.